Hi there, this is Pastor Steve Kimes of Onawim Christian Community, and we're talking about the story of the Bible. And last couple times we talked about Leviathan, how he got the waters and the darkness to rebel against him, rebel against Yahweh, and Yahweh shut them down and then put both the waters and the darkness, separated them so that way they can't do that anymore, but they're under God's power. So we're going to continue on with this. Now, it says Yahweh spoke with the word. So we're on a few days in the Genesis chapter 1 right now. Yahweh spoke with the word. Waters swim with swimming things, and various kinds of creatures appeared in the water. So the waters no longer were free to rise up. And then Yahweh spoke with the word, expanse, be flown in with flying things. And various kinds of flying creatures appeared in the lower heavens. And Yahweh spoke with the word to the swimming and the flying things, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the waters, fill the air. And Yahweh spoke the word, land, live with living creatures. And various kinds of animals appeared on the land. Here you have the basic separation in Genesis of three main realms. You have land, air, and ocean. Those are the three main realms of the earth. Technically, air or the expanse itself isn't just the atmosphere, but it also includes a good portion of space. But those are the three main areas that are often talked about in the Bible, just in general, just as a way of some basic categorization. And then Yahweh spoke with word to all the powers, because it's not just Yahweh creating the world. He is talking to all the powers that he had created before, what we call angels today. That's a Bible term, angels, it's in the Greek. And so he's talking to all these powers that are with him. And so when we see in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 and chapter 3 where you have Yahweh or God saying, we are doing this, or we are decreeing this, or we have seen this. The we is Yahweh and all the powers of heaven. That's what's being talked about. And so Yahweh spoke with a word to all the powers. Humans will be made in our image, and so they will rule as a power over the air, over the water, and over the land. And so Yahweh created humans in the image of the gods, in the higher heavens, in two forms, male and female. And Yahweh said with a word to the humans, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the land, keep it in line. You're in charge of all the flying creatures, all the swimming creatures, and all the living creatures on the land. Rule well. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And all of this is actually repeated in Psalm 8. If you look at Psalm 8, it talks about that Yahweh has established mankind to be over those three realms of creation, the air, the sea, and the land. And we've got that here in Genesis chapter 1. Basically, humanity is in charge over the earth. What are we to learn from this passage at the end of Genesis chapter 1? First of all, when we say that humans are to rule, we do not mean male humans only. Yes, it does say man is made in our image and stuff like that, but it's talking about men and women. It's talking about mankind or humankind, not about men in particular, which is why I think that the translation men, we should just get rid of that, because it's not because it's confusing, but because some people have taken advantage of that in a wrong way. Both men and women are set to rule over creation. That's the second thing we want to say, is that God surrendered his sovereignty over the earth to humanity. This is a very important point that a lot of people miss. God is the ruler of all the heavens and the earth, everything that exists in the universe. God is ultimately in charge. But he appointed as his sub-king humanity. So humanity is in charge, is kind of the lesser king, the lesser ruler over the earth. Humanity makes the decisions over what happens in the earth. God makes the overall decisions, and He can veto things that a human does, and humans can ask God for help, but humans are the ones in charge over the earth. Everybody says, well, why is there so much suffering on earth? Why do we have to live with all this suffering? It's because God put humans in charge. And we may think, oh, that was a really bad idea. Why did God do that? Well, we can talk about that later, but for right now, the important thing is God did it. God put humans in charge. That's how come there's so much suffering. Not because God willed all this suffering all throughout the earth. No, there is suffering. It's humanity's job to alleviate the suffering, to rule well, to be in charge. And this is the third point I want to make. God put humanity in charge not to be sucky rulers. He didn't put humanity in charge to rule with an iron fist or to rule and pound everybody into the ground. God put humanity in charge to rule well, to rule with kindness, to rule with mercy, to rule so that way everyone is able to live together, that all of creation that God declared to be good can continue to be good. We have screwed that up. We'll talk about how we screwed that up. But it's important for us to realize humanity, if there's anyone to point to for the screw-ups in the earth, it's not just because humanity, because of our sin nature or something like that. Once again, we're going to talk about that more. It doesn't so much have to do with humanity's sin nature, but it does have to do with human responsibility and that we're not taking the full responsibility over the earth. This passage in Genesis chapter 1 is the main passage about environmentalism in the Bible. God put humans in charge of the earth. He says, you're in charge. Do a good job. Protect it from enemies. It actually has a fighting word in there, a war word in there, to subdue, and they're supposed to protect and fight for their rulership. But the fact is that humanity is supposed to rule well. So that way they're only supposed to fight their enemies. They're not supposed to fight their friends. They're supposed to live well with their people. And the way that the original plan was that they were to do that under God. We'll talk about this more later. May the Lord bless you and keep you and give you peace.